tears were beginning to show. As he drove away on that rainy night, I begged him to go slow. And whether he heard, I'll never know. I felt so helpless, what could I do? Remembering all the things we've been through. In school they all stop and stare. I can't have the tears, but I don't care. I'll never forget him, leader of the pack.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening of Factory Zero. It is our great honor to introduce Detroit's own Cass Tech Drumline. Executive Director Jim Quick.
Thank you. Give it up for Detroit's own Cast Tech drumline. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Quick. I'm the Plant Executive Director here at Detroit Hamtramck Assembly Center, Factory Zero. Before we get started, just some brief words about safety. So I know that you're all very eager to send a text or a photo or a video of my remarks here today. I just ask you to wait and do that. Make sure you're safe. Don't do it on the way home driving. Don't do it on the way out of here walking. Also, in regards to safety, I just want to thank everyone in advance for abiding by our COVID protocols. That lets us be safe and inclusive. With that, it's my honor to say, welcome to Factory Zero. And welcome President Biden, all of our special guests here today, including government officials, senior leaders, community partners, colleagues, and more. I'm thrilled, proud, and humbled to have you with us as we open our door to share in this momentous occasion with all of you. Thank you for your confidence, your commitment, and your partnership. Now, words cannot express my sincere gratitude to the Factory Zero team. You're the reason we're standing here today. We're standing here today less than 2 years after the bold decision was made. Gerald and Mark came to the plant and we made the announcement that we were going to reimagine this nearly 40-year-old facility to be the launching pad for America's EV future. If you remember back in Q1 of 2020, when we were just Detroit Hamtramck Assembly, we brought the entire team to the Design Dome, pulled the curtain back, and gave a glimpse of the Hummer EV and the Hummer EV and the Hummer SUT and SUV. And we said at that time, everyone in, and we're going to build the world's first super truck. We did it. We did it in record time. Our standing here today is testament to that. It was only 20 months from the moment that we announced Factory Zero to the first pre-production models coming off, and we will ship customers' models this year. We took this place down to the studs. We rebuilt it in record time. We ushered out 1985 and brought in the latest technology. It's an incredible achievement, and none of it would have been possible without the exceptional people right here at Factory Zero. You shared in the vision. You held the faith through some of the most trying times in the company and the country. We certainly had a blueprint to rebuild this plant, but our team formed the blueprint for a culture that proved we could accomplish anything that lay before us, no matter the challenge. It's what you see before you today, the engagement, the inclusion, the teamwork, the culture. We will continue to prosper. We will grow this team to over 2,200 employees and beyond. Gerald Johnson says it best, moments matter, and moments matter at Factory Zero. In fact, Factory Zero is ripe with moments. It's part of our new culture we forged here together. The Factory Zero team is proud of this very special moment, and we take pride in sharing that with you. Now, we'll hear from some of our dignitaries next, starting with our very own Factory Zero UAW Local 22 Chairman, Scott Harwick. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Please welcome UAW Local 22 Shop Chairman, Scott Harwick.
Thank you. Wow, what a day so far. I think it's a great day for Factory Zero. It's a great day for UAW Local 22, an incredible workforce. Thank you, Local 22 membership. This is a great day as we show the world the new General Motors EV program and what a good unionized workforce can achieve. Factory Zero is a great place, great team, and we're building a world-class vehicle here for the future of us and General Motors. I would like to thank UAW President Ray Curry and staff, UAW Region 1 Director James Harris and staff, VP of UAW GM Department Terry Dittis and staff. I would also like to take this time to welcome a person we all know, a recent addition to the UAW staff. His hard work and dedication to this membership, this plant, and to the UAW. He helped negotiate this plant, Michael Plater. Thank you, Michael. And with that, it gives me great pleasure in introducing Terry Dittis with his great leadership to the UAW and to General Motors relationship. Thank you.
Please welcome Vice President UAW GM Department, Terry Dietz.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a great day here for Local 22 and the Detroit facility and the great community here. This is just the beginning, and it started some years ago. But what a great honor today to have the most worker-friendly president ever in the history of the United States here today at Factory Zero. You know, many people in public office talk a good game, but we have all heard President Biden talk about good paying union jobs every time he talks. And you know why it comes out of his mouth? because he believes it. He believes in it. And this is evidence right here today. It's an honor to be standing in front of everybody. I see the membership of Local 22 in the back, and you, brothers and sisters, are the reason for all of this. We love you. God bless you. You are the best. And both myself and President Curry and President Biden are here because of that body, that membership, who builds world-class products every single day, wakes up to the bell, and puts the best vehicles on the road, made right here in the USA with union labor. Everybody should be happy about that. So since we're running close on time, and they gave us about 20 seconds and I'm already over, I just want to say that this debate started in 2019. But luckily, we left that bargaining table with an agreement that General Motors would put money into this plant and we would continue the membership and add members. So there's new jobs coming here to this community, to Local 22 and the General Motors plant. May God bless this plant, may God bless America, and may God bless the UAW. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your congressional delegation from the state of Michigan.
Hey, it's great to be back with the home team. And it's wonderful to have a President of the United States who knows who the home team is. And thank you, Mary Ibarra and the outstanding GM team, and thank you, Ray Curry, and the great members of the UAW. We in the Michigan delegation have your back. The infrastructure bill the President signed this week is a critical step in investing in our future. And I'm so glad my bill to strengthen Buy America laws is in it. And now we're focused on the next step. The global pandemic has shown us what happens when we are dependent on parts made halfway around the world. We need semiconducting chips made here. We need battery cells and components made here. And that's exactly what Build Back Better does. You're doing your part to own our transportation future. It's up to us to be your partners, and we are. Electric charging stations are now being built. Now we got to create the tax incentives to build our supply chains here, bring our jobs home. And we're also improving the consumer rebate you can use right when you purchase your new vehicle. Special thanks also to Congressman Kildee, who's leading our effort in the House. Where are you? Where are you, Dan? Right here. And let me be clear. Yes, we want that rebate to be used for vehicles made in America. Yes, we want you to receive a bonus if it's made by the workers who built the middle class of our country, the UAW. Now, you may have heard, let me just take a closing moment to say, you may have heard there are some foreign automakers led by Toyota who are fighting our efforts. And I think it takes a lot of nerve for an auto company based in Japan, where they make it almost impossible for us to sell to them in Japan, where they receive government funding and consumer rebates in Japan, where they have a union labor force in Japan, in fact, everywhere except in America, by the way, where they fight tooth and nail against Americans who try to organize. It takes a lot of nerve for them to fight our effort to have a consumer bonus for buying vehicles made by the United Auto Workers. So I call this just leveling the playing field. And I'm committed to supporting the home team and leading this effort in the Senate. Thank you, GM. Thank you, UAW, for building our transportation future. And I want to introduce to you my partner in this fight and all of our efforts for Michigan, Senator Gary Peters.
Well, hello, everybody. It is great to be here in Detroit. It's great to be with the entire family of General Motors. It's great to be with the men and women of the UAW and with President Biden. Today, we are seeing the future of the American automotive manufacturing. Last century, the mass production of automobiles was one of the most transformative times in human history. It powered the American economy, and it led to the creation of the American middle class. Today, we are seeing how mobility will transform society in the 21st century. Up to this point, there have been two certainties in the auto industry: an internal combustion engine for powering the car and a human to steer it. The EV Hummer will change the first part, but American ingenuity will also change the way automobiles are driven in the future. Soon, in addition to the EV Hummer, the electric and autonomous GM Cruise Origin, right over there, will be built right here in this plant. It will be steered by high-tech sensors with 360-degree vision, along with artificial intelligence, and forever transform mobility. And I believe all of you believe, that we must seize this moment to make sure that Michigan continues to lead the world in innovation. The bipartisan infrastructure bill that was just signed into law is essential to that goal. Among other things, it will build electric charging stations all across the country, making EVs more accessible to everyone and help transform our economy. Michigan is a manufacturing powerhouse. It has been in our DNA for generations. And with President Biden's leadership, we will keep making things for generations to come right here in the great state of Michigan, and each and every one of you are on the very forefront of that. Thank you for all that you do. And now it's my honor to introduce the Congresswoman representing this district in the U.S. House of Representatives, Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence.
I want to say good evening. I'm proud to represent this district, the 14th District of Congress. And I'm here it's an honor to be here today as we talk with our fellow members of Congress and our community leaders and our proud UAW workers. I am so glad to be here. On Monday, President Biden signed the historic bipartisan infrastructure bill into law. We're making transformational investments in safe drinking water, in good-paying union jobs, and of course, a clean economy. Michigan is leading in the charge of manufacturing electric vehicles, and no one is better qualified than us, than Detroit, than Michigan, who put the world on wheels to now transform to an electric fleet for the United States and for the world. That's an applause. We're here today in Factory Zero, and we're so proud to be here in the transformational leadership of looking at a way that is different from when I grew up in Detroit of how we manufacture cars. But we are leading the way. And now that the infrastructure bill is law, companies like GM are going to be able to grow their operations in the United States and increase our competitiveness. But not only GM, our small businesses, jobs are being created. I'm so proud to be here today with an amazing leader, Mr. Leon Richardson, who is the owner of Chemical, who will benefit from our investment in the infrastructure because he will be able to create jobs and grow his business. Now, I want you to know, every last one of you should be powered up. I was in freezing cold yesterday signing this bill, but the blood running through my veins was just boiling with excitement because it's a once-in-a-lifetime investment. We have not invested in our infrastructure since the New Deal. We're going to invest in our water, our roads, our mass transit, broadband, climate resiliency, and in jobs. I want you to know that this is all hands on deck. We are living in a time in America where we can tell our children that we wrote history in America by believing in Joe Biden, believing in his vision, and we as members of Congress and my delegation was right on board. God bless you. Thank you. I want to bring to a stage my colleague, Debbie Dingell, who we all know lives and sleeps auto industry. Ladies and gentlemen, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
Good afternoon, Factory Zero. You know, I am a car girl. I'm proud of it. And it's an honor to be here today seeing some, we're not old, but we are a little seasoned, some of my colleagues, to be here with Mary Barra and Mark Royce and all my friends from the UAW, Ray Curry. It's just, I can't tell you how happy I am to be here. And, I wasn't sure I was going to come to tell you the truth, because we have a big bill to vote on back in Washington, Build Back Better, and we are going to build back better. But then I couldn't not be here to welcome, I'm a car girl, the President of the United States is a car guy. You should have seen him. He's never happier than when he's behind the wheel of anything. But he loved the Hummer today. He did, loved it. This is, I'm sort of going down memory lane. I was here in 1985 when this plant opened for its first chapter. I had lunch with Mary when she was the plant manager here. How many of you remember those days? Yeah. I was here in 2010 when President Obama visited, and now I'm here for the next chapter of this plant, which is going to lead America and the world in mobility. Michigan put the world on wheels a century ago, and what we are celebrating today is going to make sure that we keep the leadership in the global economy on mobility. You can clap, that's fine, but I wasn't. In August, I stood with the auto CEOs, Ray Curry from the UAW and Bernie Rickey from my local 600 in my hometown, and a lot of other UAW workers, the heads of all the environmental groups, with the President of the United States as he announced a target of 50% sales by the year 2030 of electric vehicles, a goal we will meet. And I was proud. My other colleagues have talked about the infrastructure bill, but I stood and I want to Dan Kildee, Andy Levin, Haley Stevens, Rashida Tlaib, who splits this plant with Brenda, that's in both of their districts, are also here today because we know how important it is. We know that building back better means protecting the economy, keeping us a world leader, creating and protecting American jobs here in the state of Michigan and in the United States of America, bringing back our supply chain and protecting the environment all at the same time. We are. And as they're going to see, as we do this by building the vehicles, they're not the future anymore. They're here. When you drive that electric Hummer, it's got the same performance, if not better, of the old Hummer. Electric vehicles aren't foo-foo cars. They're real, and they're the future. So let's go get to work. Thank you.
Please welcome Executive Vice President of Global Manufacturing and Sustainability, Gerald Johnson.
Good afternoon, Factory Zero. Good to be back with you this afternoon, and I know you're having a great day, yes? Some of you know, I think all of you know, we've been building great products for over a century. In fact, we built over 1 million of them right here inside of these four walls, and many of you have been a part of that experience and that history. We've done it through good times and bad times. We've done it through war and peace, and we've done it through prosperity and pandemic. It's what we do, and we're good at it. So a few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to talk to or share our vision for manufacturing for the EV future. It was a roadmap that I tried to lay out of reinvention, of sustainability, and of growth. And it led us to right here today. When I was talking to that group, I was talking about what we would do. I was telling them what Factory Zero would represent, what Factory Zero would accomplish. Today, we talk about what we are doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, at Factory Zero, GM's fully transformed electric vehicle plant is now open for business. Now, manufacturing is a competitive advantage today and into the transition of an EV future. And it's all built upon people. The people are the backbone of what we are able to accomplish at Factory Zero, what we've accomplished for years here at Detroit Hamtramck. And very soon, there will be 2,200 team members right here in Factory Zero building these super trucks, and they will become a part of the 95,000 industrial problem solvers that make up the global manufacturing team. Why is that important? Why do I emphasize it? Simple math, that's 1.4 million years of experience, capability, familiarity with launch, and the types of problems and challenges it takes to handle complex builds like we do in automotive building every day. Quick sense check. How many here of the Factory Zero team have 15 years or more? Come on, you can do better than that. Again, simple math. There's roughly 12,000 years of experience going into building quality into these trucks that we're building and all the things we're going to build right here in Factory Zero. That is our competitive advantage. You are our competitive advantage. The amount of knowledge that we have here helps us to pivot and be agile to build a brighter future for tomorrow, and it wouldn't be possible at all without the right people with the right skills at the right time acting as one team. That includes tradespeople, team members, team leaders, group leaders, engineers. That includes everyone, material drivers, quality team members. It takes all of that to do what we do here every day and to do it successfully. I'd also like to acknowledge the critical support at the local and state and federal levels as well, for which we are grateful, and I take this moment to acknowledge and say thank you. We wouldn't be here today without all of you. It's every one of us making the contributions and bringing our skills to bear. And today we take the next step in what we believe the historic transformation in transportation since the inception of the automobile. It won't be easy. It's only a beginning, but that's what we do in manufacturing. We do the difficult things that are necessary to be successful. So thank you for your leadership, thank you for your engagement, and thank you for all that you're going to do to make Factory Zero a historic location for General Motors. Now, next, stay tuned for our Chair and CEO, Mary Barra, and other special guests that will be joining us shortly. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CEO and Chair of General Motors, Mary Barra.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We are so honored that President Biden is here as General Motors and our nation make positive strides toward a future with more jobs in the U.S. and zero emissions. We want to congratulate the President on the signing of the Infrastructure Act that occurred on Monday, and we look forward to the enactment of the Build Back Better plan that will truly help transform the U.S. automotive industry and put us on an irreversible path to a zero emissions future. The new law will help encourage consumers to adopt EVs by strengthening public and private sector investment in a robust electrical vehicle charging infrastructure. Factory Zero is the first of many GM facilities that will produce our all-new generation of electric vehicles powered by the Ultium platform. I have been awaiting this day ever since we announced this massive and historic plant's transformation 2 years ago. So thank you for helping us celebrate, and I hope you will all get to experience the GMC Hummer EV pickup. We cannot wait to deliver them to customers, and it's going to happen very soon. But we need everybody in on this journey to create a better world for future generations. This includes governments, businesses, communities, and our employees, starting in our own backyard. Your leadership and that of the federal, state, and local officials and community leaders has enabled us to reach this moment. So thank you. But in addition to welcoming the President and all of our guests, I really want to recognize our talented and dedicated employees, our GM team members, because they are why we are here today. So thank you. Nearly 20 years ago, when I had the privilege of being the plant manager here, I could not have imagined the role it would play someday in charting the future of transportation. It's exciting to know that in 2 years, Factory Zero will have doubled the number of employees it had prior to its retooling, over 2,000 employees, and it sets the stage for what's to come here and at many other GM facilities in the United States that will be transformed to support the production of full electric vehicles. As we have said, we are investing $35 billion in electric vehicles and autonomous vehicle programs globally from 2020 to 2025. From EV charging infrastructure to advanced technologies, we are leading the way with innovation and investment. In the same time frame, we will launch 30 new EV models by 2025, 2/3 of which will be available in North America. In addition to 2 battery cell plants under construction and 2 more planned, we'll soon announce another EV truck assembly plant and additional EV manufacturing investments, all in the United States. Factory Zero showcases the competitive advantage of our skilled manufacturing GM team members and all of our capabilities. It's a model for our commitment to build our zero emissions future by renovating existing facilities to save both time and money. And it's also a significant milestone as we make our products and operations carbon neutral by 2040. Beyond our company, this plant represents a promising new chapter for Detroit and Hamtramck and the state of Michigan. Above all, Factory Zero is an American electric vehicle factory built on General Motors' legacy of innovation. Detroit has been our headquarters for more than a century, and we are equally determined to make it a vital part of our future. Earlier this year, we announced we will invest $50 million in Detroit, Hamtramck, and Highland Park-based programs to help residents participate in this exciting future. This is where General Motors first transformed the way Americans move, and now we're doing it again. I personally have never been more optimistic about our company and our industry. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for your excitement and your dedication. And now I want to turn the program over to UAW President Ray Curry. And also I'd like you to know that today is his birthday, and I believe he's turning 30. So please give a warm welcome to President of the UAW, Ray Curry.
Thank you, thank you. And thank you, Mary. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Vice President Terry Dittus, CEO Mary Barr, to you, Wiley and Scott, and the members of UAW Local 22, who worked so hard to get us all here today for this moment. Most of all, I'd like to thank President Joe Biden. Far too long we've talked about infrastructure in this country, doing absolutely nothing. You did what no other president of either party has been able to get us through: passage of the infrastructure bill, a bill with real funding, and you got bipartisan votes also. Thank you, Mr. President, for standing up with what's most important: jobs and getting it done. For this industry, it means that UAW GM members will transition into a lead role in the future of vehicles. And today, we stand committed together. Here is another example of what can be done when parties work together. The ability to increase jobs, good paying union jobs, and in fact, build electric vehicles of the future. And Mr. President, you are the first president that I can recall standing up and using the word union. And Mr. President, when you use the word union, you back it up. Your support of the kill, stab, and all provision will also make sure subsidies for EVs go to American manufacturers, good-paying UAW GM jobs like here at Factory Zero. Scott and Wiley, your members of Local 22's persistence, along with the help of the UAW GM department, are all key and made this day possible. Today we stand on the ionic site that it will employ 2,200 sisters and brothers, more than when the plant retooled. We also stand on the site, as you've witnessed, to see the 2022 GMC Hummer EV pickup, production beginning later this year, the 2024 Hummer EV SUV, the Chevy Silverado, the Cruze Origin, and hopefully, Mary and team, many other EVs that have not yet been announced. This is a huge investment in the Motor City. Detroit has been the UAW and GM's headquarters for so many years, almost a century. And we are proud that this investment creates a strong future, not only for the facility, but also the stakeholders locally in the community. It's a cutting-edge way of what's taking place. Whether it's reusing or recycling material from the old facility, recycled storm water that will be used in the cooler towers, and the fire suppression system, the green technology in this plant is encompassing sustainable technology for all. We are living proof today that substantially we can create new jobs when we work together. In fact, this plant, as I stated earlier, will have more jobs when it reopens than prior to retooling of Factory Zero. And finally, there is a commitment in the community. GM announced that it would invest $50 million in Detroit Hamtramck and Highland Park-based nonprofit programs by 2025. That further emphasizes the commitment to all of the stakeholders on making the city a place where Detroiters can learn, work, and thrive. So on behalf of the 2,200 UAW members that will call this beautiful facility home, thank you, General Motors, for investing in good-paying union jobs, for investing in Detroit, Michigan, and ultimately in the UAW members and their families. Mary, Terry, and most of all, President Joe Biden, great things are destined to be built here, and UAW members are going to make that happen. Thank you. And now I have the privilege of introducing a great friend of ours, Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh.
Thank you very much. Let me, first of all, thank you, President Curry, for that great introduction, and I want to just congratulate you on representing this great historic union, the United Auto Workers. Congratulations to you. You're a great leader in this country and for the labor movement. I want to thank you. And it's such a great honor to be here with my brothers and sisters from the labor movement. Thank you so much to all of you that are here today. I'm a proud card-carrying member of Labor's Local 223 in Boston. My union book's in my pocket, my dues are paid. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank President Biden. It's such an honor to be in the capital of blue-collar America with the president delivering blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. I want to thank the CEO, Mary Barra, for your incredible work here. Where are you, Mary? Thank you so much, Mary, and you got a beautiful introduction here, so another round of applause for Mary. And most importantly, I know there's a lot of guests and people here, but I want to thank the incredible workers here at General Motors' incredible Factory Zero for your incredible work. So thank you for the work you do. We got a little glimpse today as we went around with the president of the future today. The future made in America by American workers, and I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank the elected officials that are here. Lieutenant Gilchrist, thank you for being here. I met you in Boston. Where are you? We're talking about, actually, I met you in Detroit a couple of years ago when I was the mayor of Boston. Senator Stabenow and Senator Peters, thank you very much for the great work that you have done. To the congressional delegations, Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, Dan Kildee, Haley Stevens, Andy Levine, and Representative Tlaib's here as well. Thank you very much oh, and sorry, I missed you. You're right here. I saved the best for last. Representative Lawrence. As a former mayor of the city of Boston, I certainly know what infrastructure means to a city and town in this country. The truth is, I'm able to be here today, quite honestly, because infrastructure, my father was a construction worker. He's an immigrant from Ireland. When he came from Ireland, he was able to join Labor's Local 223 in Boston. He was able to help my family get into the middle class. He was able to fulfill an American dream. That promise that built America is also the promise that President Biden has kept to the working people of America. He said he would go across the aisle and deliver results, and that's exactly what he did, and he signed the bill into law a couple of days ago. He delivered on a bipartisan infrastructure law that invests in working people like we haven't seen in generations. These investments will create good jobs in every corner of our country, blue-collar, union jobs that lift families into the middle class and restore pride in all of our communities all across this country. This bill will also replacing lead pipes so every child can grow up drinking clean drinking water. We have kids in America right now that are drinking water out of lead pipes. It's going to rebuild our roads and bridges and public transit, our ports, our airports, our freight rail. It's going to be connecting affordable high-speed internet to every home and school in America. We're going to be manufacturing solar panels, wind farms, batteries, and electric vehicles, including many that's here at Factory Zero. We're going to be installing a nationwide network of charging stations so we can drive the cars that are being built right here and the trucks being built right here all across the United States and all across this great nation. In less than 9 months as Secretary of Labor, I've traveled to over 30 states and 53 cities talking and listening to American workers about what they need. What they talk about are good-paying jobs, strong communities, and healthy futures for their families. And that's what the President has delivered on. As a member of the President's implementation team for these investments, we're going to make sure that every job is a good job. We're going to make sure every American can get these jobs, especially communities that have been shut out in the past. We need to make sure that we're real intentional about spending this money and helping Americans all across this country. We're going to keep fighting for the President's full Build Back Better framework so that working families can afford child care, elder care, health care, education, job training that they need and that they deserve. I just want to end by saying, for too long, too many people have said America's best days are behind us. The President refuses to believe that. He's called us together to remind us who we are. We are America. We dream big, we work hard, we fight for our future, and we're about to show the world what we can really do. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Yolanda Pessinent.
Good afternoon. I am Yolanda Pessinent, the UAW Communications Coordinator here at Factory Zero. When I first started at this plant, I was lucky enough to work with my dad, who worked here for 30 years before he retired. I hope to carry on that proud tradition. As you can tell, the atmosphere here is very electric. Had to. I am thrilled on behalf of the membership of UAW Local 22, the entire Factory Zero team, and all of us at General Motors to welcome the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Hello, Detroit. It's great to be back. Before I begin, I just want to mention 3 pieces of good news today. First, through the leading rating agencies on Wall Street, confirmed today, not a liberal think tank, 2 Wall Street outfits, that the economic proposals we put forward for the nation, the infrastructure law we just signed and the Build Back Better plan are being considered this week in Congress will not add to inflationary pressures in the economy. And here's what one of the agencies said, and I quote, "The bills do not add inflation pressures." Let me repeat that, do not add inflation pressures. Reason? Because the policies I proposed, quote, help lift long-term economic growth via stronger productivity, labor force growth, as well as taking the edge off inflation. A second point I want to make. We've learned today that job growth in the nation has been even stronger than previously reported. Every month since I've been president, I stand, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the estimated number of jobs created or lost in the country of that month. Then they go back and they look at more information and check their estimates against what actually happened and give us an updated final number. What we found out today is when they look back at the last 4 months, we actually created 710,000 more jobs in the country than previously reported, on top of the 5.6 million we already had created and been counted that we knew about. So it's good news that Americans are working and wages are up as well. Thirdly, with holidays coming, by the way, all sit down, man, if you have a seat. I'm not used to being president. Everybody's standing. I'm sorry. But Walmart and Target have made public today what they told me about a week ago, that they're stocked up for the holiday season. Their inventories are up, and they'll have all the toys, food, and other items that shoppers are looking for in the holiday season. That's going to happen. So, now let me begin. God, it's good to be back in Detroit. And that Hummer's one hell of a vehicle, man. Yo! As we used to say in the Senate, as some of my senators, colleagues will know, like Debbie, excuse the point of personal privilege. I came up in an automobile family. My dad ran the largest automobile dealership. He didn't own it, just ran it for 30 years in Delaware. And so I was raised on cars. And I have a 1967 Corvette that I got as a wedding gift when my deceased wife and I got married. My dad could afford the payments. He couldn't afford to buy it. But the point was, I thought that was the hell's bells, man. 327, 350, 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. This truck, 3 times heavier. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Whoa! And besides, there's a beautiful red Corvette, maroon Corvette I'm driving home over here. Yolanda, thank you for the introduction. And President Ray Curry, thank you. No one does more to look out for American auto workers than Ray Curry. And it's great to be with you today, pal. And happy birthday. And I want to thank the team here at GM, especially to your chairwoman, Mary Barry. Mary, you're an incredible leader. You really are. Thank you for hosting us at the very same facility where you once served as a plant manager. I believe Mary gotten a promotion or 2 since then. I know a lot about that as a son of a car guy. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, my dad managed those dealerships back home. I used to work with my dad's operation, drive up to Mannheim Automobile Auction and bring back automobiles. And I guess I got a promotion too. Look, I got a chance to drive a pretty incredible machine back then. But I never could have imagined vehicles like the ones that I just took for a spin. The first ever all-electric Hummer, which I first got to check out back in August when GM brought one to the White House lawn, in the South Lawn, along with the electric Ford 150 and the electric Jeep Wagoneer. Masterpieces of modern manufacturing, built by union workers, and proof that America has what it takes to win the competition of the 21st century. And I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Carlin Gilchrist, who's become a friend, as well as I want to thank Representative, where's Representative Tlaib? I want to thank her for the passport into the city, into your district. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. I want to thank my Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh, for joining me here today as well. And let me tell you, the infrastructure law I signed on Monday would not be possible without the Michigan congressional delegation. That's not hyperbole. Debbie Stabenow, once again, Debbie delivered for Michigan auto workers. She was the driving force to make sure this law included a national network of electric vehicle charging stations. Gary Peters, Senator Peters, is instrumental in securing a mere $65 billion for high-speed internet in this law. So families in rural Michigan will finally have broadband infrastructure they need to get connected and expand the possibilities for them and their children. And Alyssa Slotkin, she can't be here today, but she knows that the competitive edge around the world depends on the strength of our industrial base here at home and the people who run that base. And Dan Kildee continues to be the leading voice for investing in infrastructure in small towns and communities, but so folks in every part of the state can compete. And Dan and Debbie are responsible for the additional tax credit of $4,500 for union-made vehicles. And Hallie Stevens, she ran for office to fix Michigan's roads and bridges. Well, you're delivering, kid. You are delivering. And Andy Levin, a former union organizer, Andy fought like hell to make sure that this law allowed us to start replacing lead pipes in Michigan and all across America. And Brenda Lawrence was a key fighter in clean drinking water as well. And we're lucky to have her leading the Democratic Women's Conference and serving in the leadership of the Congressional Black Caucus. Thank you. And Debbie Dingell. My great friend, who whenever I'm in trouble, I call her for advice first. Now, when I screw up, it doesn't mean I followed her advice. It means I may not have followed it. But Debbie, thank you for being such a good friend for so long. Debbie helped drive us across the finish line with this legislation. Folks, it's not hyperbole to say that this delegation is laser focused on your needs, the needs of the people of Michigan and the American people, your concerns, the kind of conversations that take place around your kitchen tables, conversations as profound as they are ordinary. How am I going to get to work on time if I-75 is flooded again? How can I be sure my job at the auto plant is still going to be here a few years down the line? How can I afford to get my child a degree beyond high school if they don't start with the same opportunity? And more broadly, how do we emerge from this pandemic not just with a little breathing room, but with a real fighting chance to get ahead? There are the things that take place at the kitchen tables I grew up in. For most of the 21st century, we led the world by a significant margin because we invested in our people. We invested in ourselves. But something went wrong along the way. We stopped. We risked losing our edge as a nation. And China and the rest of the world are catching up. Well, we're about to turn that around in a big, big way. We're going to be building again. We're going to be moving again. And folks, when you see these projects starting in your hometowns, I want you to feel the way I feel, pride in what we can do when we're together as the United States of America. And it starts here in Detroit. In the auto industry, Detroit's leading the world in electric vehicles. You know how critical it is? Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters. And drastically improving the climate by reducing hundreds of millions of barrels of oil that will not be used when we're all electric. You know, up until now, China's been leading in this race. But that's about to change. Because of this law, next year, for the first time in 20 years, in which American infrastructure investment will be far greater than China's. The first time in 20 years. We're going to put IBEW members and other union members to work installing a national network of charging stations along our roads and highways in our communities, over 500,000. And Governor Whitmer has already announced a proposal to expand electric charging stations along key travel routes across the state. And a few weeks ago, GM announced it's going to install 40,000 public charging stations, as we're going to unleash a lot more than that. Look, we're going to make sure that the jobs of the future end up here in Michigan, not halfway around the world. You know, that means that here in Detroit, you're going to set a new pace for electric vehicles. This is not hyperbole, this is a fact. With this infrastructure law, along with my Build Back Better plan, we're going to kickstart new batteries, materials, and parts production and recycling, boosting the manufacturing of clean vehicles with new loans and new tax credits, creating new purchase incentives for consumers to buy American-made, union-made clean vehicles, like the electric Hummer. Folks, or the Silverado, or any other of the 20 or more vehicles that GM's going to come out with in the near term that are electric. And spurring demand by covering federal government's enormous fleet of vehicles is what I'm going to do. I pledged when I ran. We have thousands and thousands of vehicles in the federal fleet. They're going to all go electric, all of them, down the road, supporting electric transit systems, electric school buses. And of course, that's not all the law will achieve. This law is going to start to replace 100% of the nation's lead pipes and service lines. As I was stated earlier, every child in Michigan and across America can turn on the faucet and drink clean water. 10 million homes have those lead pipes going in, and 400,000 schools. Tens of thousands of plumbers and pipe fitters are going to get to work in good-paying jobs and help make the nation healthier. Folks, And there's an additional $10 billion nationwide to eliminate the dangerous forever chemical PFAS, which is an incredibly dangerous chemical. Look, this law is going to make high-speed internet affordable and available everywhere in America. Create jobs laying down that broadband line. Today, 14% of Michigan households don't have an internet subscription. Nearly 400,000 people in the state. A lot of places, there's no broadband infrastructure at all. This law is going to make high-speed internet affordable, available everywhere in Michigan. Urban, suburban, rural, going to create jobs laying down broadband lines. And in the 21st century in America, no parent should have to do what a lot of you did and they did in my state and all over America, should ever have to sit in a parking lot of a fast food restaurant again, just so their child can use the internet coming from that fast food restaurant. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. This law makes the most significant investment in roads and bridges in 70 years, fixing so many of those 1,200 bridges, 7,300 miles of roads here in Michigan that are in poor condition. So when a family drives the car you built right here, they'll be a whole lot safer, and they'll get there a hell of a lot faster. The law includes the most significant investment in passenger rail in the past 50 years. And again, in public transit, ever. I remember Mayor Duggan, who's not here, he's on a honeymoon. He's a good guy, I love Duggan. He helped pull this city out of a real tough spot. And he used to talk about, I found out, I didn't know it beforehand, that we didn't have, most of the jobs are outside the city. Significant 60% of the people who had those jobs outside the city didn't have vehicles to get out, didn't have cars to get outside the city. So we provided buses, transit, and guess what? Things began to change. Well, now we're going to change that again. Here in Michigan, that means replacing nearly 1/5 of the transit vehicles that are past their useful life. It means jobs for folks making the upgrades, good paying union jobs, jobs you can raise a family on, jobs you can't outsource. Folks, this law will modernize our airports, freight rail, our ports along the Great Lakes, making it easy for companies to get goods to market, reducing supply chain bottlenecks, and lowering costs for families. This law also builds up our resilience against extreme weather events. Here in Michigan, you know the cost of extreme weather. You remember the flooding this summer that shut down parts of I-75 and I-95, the power outages and tornado warnings. They're costing this state billions of dollars. Nationally, last year, listen to this, nationally last year, the extreme weather cost the United States of America $99 billion. $99 billion. From hurricanes in Louisiana to 20 inches of rain in the Northeast to fires in the West that literally consume more land than the entire state of New Jersey from Cape May to New York. That's how much is burned to the ground. This law builds back our bridges, our water systems, our power lines, our electric grid better and stronger. So few Americans will be flooded out of their homes or lose power for days and weeks at a time when a storm hits. This bill also rewards companies for paying a decent wage, for buying Americans, sourcing their products right here in America, not abroad. This will help the United States export clean energy technology, including electric vehicles made here in Michigan, to the entire world. There's so much more in this law, but most of all, this law does something truly historic. This law is going to help rebuild the backbone of this nation. When I ran for office, I said there were 3 reasons I wanted. 1, to restore the soul of this country, decency. 2, to restore the backbone of this country. Working class and middle class folks, they're the ones that build America. And 3, to unite the country. To rebuild the economy from the bottom up and the middle out is the way I look at the world. The blue collar, this is a blue collar blueprint to rebuild America and leaves no one behind. The same goes for my Build Back Better plan. It's for our people. If you're paying, for example, $14,000 or $15,000 a year for child care so you can work, a lot of families in America are doing that. My Build Back Better plan is going to make it a gigantic difference in your life because child care costs will be limited to 7% of your income. 7%. Look, my Build Back Better plan is going to provide access to better education. You know, one of the reasons we went ahead to the rest of the world at the turn of the 20th century is we're the first nation in the world that had universal education for 12 years, not based on any background or income. That pushed us ahead, but the rest of the world's caught up, and in many cases passed us. If we were sitting down for the first time today and saying we want a universal education in America, would anybody say we'd only make it 12 years to compete in the 21st century? I don't think so. So what we're doing, we're going to make sure that every 3- and 4-year-old in America has access to quality preschool. School, school, school. And by the way, all the data shows that'll increase by 56% the possibility of going through all the way through 12 years of school and on to after school, after high school. And young people graduating from high school will have access to education beyond high school. We're increasing Pell Grants for providing apprenticeship programs. And we're going to make a huge difference for those 2 million women in America who can't get back into the workforce right now because they can't afford child care. Look, my Build Back Better plan is going to help solve that. If you're one of the millions of Americans who's paying around $1,000 a month for your insulin, for example, my Build Back Better plan will make sure that we change that too, because it means that no one will pay more than $35 a month for their insulin. And under my plan, we're going to lower costs for prescription drugs across the board, allowing them to negotiate prices, lowering the cost of daycare, elder care, housing, health care, prescription drugs. That's what the plan does. My plan meets the moment of climate change as well. And one more thing. It's fully paid for. Fully paid. It does not increase the deficit 1 single cent. As a matter of fact, it reduced the deficit according to the experts. And again, no one in America earning less than $400,000 will pay a single penny more in federal taxes. No one. And you say, well, how are you doing that, Joe? Well, I tell you what, real simple. I come from the corporate capital of the world. More corporations incorporated in my state of Delaware than all states combined. And guess what? They ain't paying enough. Sorry, Mary. But here's the deal. Look, I'm a capitalist. If you're able to make $1 million or $1 billion, have at it. That's good for everybody, except pay your fair share. We have 55 corporations. 55 of the largest corporations in America, the most successful, paid not a single penny in federal taxes the last several years. And guess what? They made $40 billion. I want them to make money. That's good. But pay a little. Pay a little. And that's how we pay for it, for real. It doesn't cost a cent. We all talk the program's $1.75 billion. Guess what? It's paid for. Paid for. And folks, from now on, they're going to have to pay their fair share. Not exorbitant number, just a fair share. Let me close with this. Throughout our history, we've emerged from previous crises stronger than we were before the crisis. We're one of the few nations in the world done that. Every major crisis has occurred in American history. Every one. We've come out stronger after it than before it happened. Because we invested in ourselves. During and after the Civil War, we built the Transcontinental Railroad, uniting us, East and West, creating jobs and opening up America in a way it never had occurred before. During the Cold War, we built the interstate highway system, transforming how Americans live their lives, allowing us to spread out across the nation. And now, as we work to put the COVID-19 pandemic behind us, we will build an economy of the 21st century. It matters. On Monday, I held a virtual meeting for 3.5 hours almost with President Xi Jinping of China. Years ago, when I was vice president, I was in China with him. We were near the Tibetan plateau, and we had over 25 hours of private meetings, me and an interpreter and he an interpreter. We got to know one another. Well, guess what? he turned to me one day, this is God's truth, my word is abiding, and said, can you define America for me? And I said, absolutely, in one word, possibilities. Possibilities. We're the only nation in the world that believes everything was within our ambit. There's nothing impossible once we set our mind to it. It's never been a good bet, as more world leaders had to hear me say, it's never been a good bet to bet against America. Never. There's no limit to what the American people can do. No limit to what our nation can do. Because, folks, and this is just not a political speech. I believe this is a fact of history. No limit. Given half a chance, just half a chance, the American people have never, ever, ever, ever let the nation down. Never. Because of this Michigan delegation, this new law gives our people a chance, more than half a chance. We're at an inflection point in world history. Things are changing, not just here, across the world. And the question is, how do we respond to it? What do we do? I truly believe, and I give you my word as abiding in this, I truly believe that 50 years from now, historians are going to look back at this moment, the last 2 years and the next 4 or 5 years, and they're going to determine whether or not, in that moment, did America win the competition for the 21st century, or did we lose it? Because that's where we are. All the pieces on the globe are changing. But we got to get back in the game, folks. We don't have to hurt any other nation. We got to get back in the game now. Because, by the way, if we don't get back in the game and able to do it, who else is going to deal with the crises in the Middle East? Who else is going to deal with the Israeli-Palestinian issue? Who else is going to deal with all those issues that affect? Who else is going to be the nation that decides that we have to have a plan to deal with the next pandemic and lead the world, so we're not where we are now? Because there will be others. Folks, I'm betting on America. I'm betting on the American people. We've got to focus on what made the nation great. I have no problem with people on the Wall Street, bankers and others, fine. But they didn't build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.